Hey, what is going on, guys? This video today is probably going to be the first positive video I've made on my channel in the last week or so, maybe even since the release of Season 5 in Fortnite, actually. After I made that video yesterday where I criticized Epic pretty heavily for the gameplay changes they've made over the past couple of weeks, they actually, for the first time in what seems like a while, released a new hotfix into Fortnite filled with pretty much only positive gameplay changes. And to make it even better, these changes directly deal with the much hated spray and pray meta which has totally dominated Season 5 so far. So to get a little more specific, this hotfix changed a bunch of weapon statistics of the brand new Compact SMG as well as the normal SMG which was added into Fortnite about a week ago. So without further ado, let's get right into breaking down the details and numbers of these nerfs as well as what exactly this all means for the new close range meta in Fortnite. Alright guys, so I'm going to throw the gameplay changes contained in this hotfix on your screen right now, and be warned it looks a little like a laundry list because there's so many changes here, but at the end of the day that's a good thing because it means Epic did a lot with this hotfix. So let's get into breaking down what exactly these bullet points mean. First off, SMG and Compact SMG accuracy bonus reduced from 35% to 15%. This basically refers to the accuracy bonus of aiming down sight with the SMG and Compact SMG. So previously your bloom circle size would decrease 35% by aiming down sights with these weapons. Now you only get a 15% decrease in bloom size when aiming down sights with these weapons, so a considerable nerf there. SMG damage reduced from 19, 20, 21 to 17, 18, 19. These three numbers refer to the rarity of the SMG, so white SMG, green SMG, and blue SMG. So all three rarities got the same decrease of 2 body damage per shot landed. Next up, Compact SMG damage reduced from 23, 24 to 21, 22, and just like with the SMGs, that refers to the rarity of purple and gold, and also just like the SMGs, both rarities got a decrease of 2 body damage per shot as well. Next up, the SMG fire rate was reduced from 13 shots per second to 12 shots per second, and the Compact SMG fire rate was also reduced from 11 shots per second down to 10 shots per second. The next three bullet points all deal with the SMG, Compact SMG, and silenced SMG damage fall off values. First off, the range of damage fall off for those three weapons was changed from 2400, 3500, 5000 to 2000, 3000, 4000. Now you don't really need to know the exact distance values that those numbers represent, you just need to know that the damage fall off for those three weapons are going to start falling off a lot quicker, especially at medium and long range. And to add on to that, the next bullet point deals with the damage fall off percentage, which was reduced from 180 65% to 170 40%. This refers to how much damage drop off you're going to get at close, medium, and long range. So close range, this was unchanged at all. Close range, you're still going to do 100% of max potential damage, but now at medium range, instead of doing 80% of max potential damage, you're only going to do 70%, and at long range, instead of doing 65% of max potential damage, you're only going to do 40%. So another nerf that reinforces the idea that SMGs are only close range weapons and should be outclassed by ARs at medium and especially long range. And the final bullet point here is that the rare SMG and Compact SMG's drop rates have been slightly reduced. So that means the blue SMG, the purple Compact SMG, and the gold Compact SMG are all now a little bit more rare and harder to find in-game. So that covers all of the bullet points initially included of the patch notes of this new hotfix, but about an hour later, the lead item designer at Epic Games commented with one other clarification for all of these patch notes. He says, one more point to add about the damage fall off. The new fall off values apply to environmental damage as well, meaning SMGs are now less effective at destroying structures as range increases. This helps further position SMGs as close range weapons and keeps them from edging into engagement ranges where rifles should be the most effective option. Along with that, he ends it out by saying, again, we'll be keeping a close eye on SMG performance to make sure that they hit the goal of being a good option for close quarters combat without overperforming in other areas. So the gist of that point, if you didn't get it with that long drawn out explanation, is that the damage fall off numbers also applies to man-built structures, which means if you try to shoot down a wall or a ramp from really far away, you're going to be punished very heavily with the damage on that wall. But close range and medium range a little bit, your damage is going to be basically the same as it was pre-patch. So now I just want to get into some detailed breakdowns of what exactly all of these changes actually did to the damage per second of all of the weapons affected. And just in case you don't know what DPS or damage per second means, it's basically the maximum potential damage at close range for SMGs if you land every single shot with 100% accuracy, but only body shots. So I'll put the numbers on the screen right now. The white SMG went from 247 DPS pre-patch to 204 DPS post-patch. The green SMG went from 260 DPS to 216 DPS. The blue SMG went from 273 DPS to 228 DPS. The purple compact SMG went from 253 DPS to 210 DPS. And finally, the gold compact SMG went from 264 DPS to 220 DPS. So overall, this was definitely a considerable nerf, even at maximum damage close range, to all 5 of the weapons that had their damage numbers altered in this change. And all of these numbers don't include any of the damage fall off numbers at medium or long range, which have become even more harsh with these patches. So I would consider this definitely a serious nerf on these super overpowered SMGs that just totally ruined the close range meta in Fortnite. Now, if I had to rate this patch overall for what it did to the SMGs, I would rate it a solid 4 out of 5. Now, you may be wondering why. First off, I don't think the damage numbers were harsh enough to the SMGs. I think they were definitely a step in the right direction, but in the case of like the compact SMG, in my opinion, it only took it from like super overpowered to slightly overpowered. So at the end of the day, I think after testing this weapon a little tonight, it is still definitely a tad bit overpowered. But most importantly, even though the damage numbers were definitely a step in the right direction, they didn't alter the damage to building close range at all in this patch. I made a whole video yesterday discussing exactly how the close range building damage SMGs do up close is totally ruining building in Fortnite. And although this patch was definitely a step in the right direction for killing the spray and pray meta of Season 5, the fact that close range building damage of SMGs was totally unaddressed was incredibly disappointing. So because of that, I can't possibly go any higher than a 4 out of 5, 80%, a B-, step in the right direction, but definitely not the final solution. So I want to wrap this video up by discussing exactly what all of these gameplay changes did to the close range meta in Fortnite and go over some of the winners and losers of this patch. First off, we're going to discuss the losers, and I think they're super obvious just by the patch notes. The 3 losers of this patch are mainly the SMG, the compact SMG, and to a lesser extent the suppressed SMG. All 3 of these weapons were pretty much overpowered because they were the main force behind the spray and pray meta in Season 5 and the main force that made the spray and pray meta thrive in Season 5, so they needed to be patched and they were patched. So if you were an SMG all-star, you know, running 2-3 SMGs, taking advantage of the fact that they were so overpowered, I think they're definitely still strong weapons now, but they're no longer ridiculously game-breakingly overpowered, and they can be outplayed by other weapons in certain close range scenarios. Now, let's go over the 3 less obvious winners of this SMG hotfix. Number 1, in my opinion, is the tactical shotgun. Even before this hotfix, I saw a lot of people starting to experiment with the tactical shotgun simply due to the fact that it's the shotgun least affected by the recent wave of patches, most notably the patch that prevented double shotguns from being possible in Fortnite. I think the tactical shotgun now, especially after this patch, has real standalone value as a solo shotgun, and I think if you're a good shotgun user that can consistently land headshots, stay mobile while consistently landing shooting any kind of shot actually, you'll be able to outplay a lot of these SMGs close range. And the best part about the tactical shotgun is since it stands alone, you don't need an SMG to pair with it. You basically free up an inventory slot. And you only have 5 of them in Fortnite, so all of them count and all of them are really valuable. So the tactical shotgun, you can run a kit like AR, tac shotgun, 3 healing spots. AR, tac shotgun, 2 heals sniper. AR, tac shotgun, 2 heals RPG. You can get really creative, and that extra inventory slot is a lot more valuable than you would ever know, and is going to help you win a lot more games than you would ever know. So give the tactical shotgun a chance. I expect to see it a lot more in the coming weeks in the close range meta. The second winner, in my opinion, is the drum gun. The drum gun is one of 3 SMGs that's been added to the game within the last few weeks, but if you notice, the drum gun is also the only SMG that was totally untouched by this patch. When the drum gun initially came out, it was a fan favorite and was pretty in the meta when it came to close range weapons. But the new SMG, and specifically the compact SMG, really totally pushed it out of the meta because they were so much more painstakingly obviously better than the drum gun. But now with these weapons receiving a considerable nerf, I think it'll be really interesting to see if the drum gun slides back into a place where a lot of people are going to take it over the compact and new SMG. I mean, it has a 50 round clip, it's pretty powerful, it's a great building destroyer. I would not be surprised to see a lot of people who are good with the drum gun pick it up over all of the other close range SMG options. And the final winner of this patch is actually 2 different types of weapons, shotguns and assault rifles. As the Epic employee's comment briefly mentioned, SMGs started to creep into viability at every range of engagement in Fortnite. Close range dominant, medium range pretty darn good, and even long range, especially with the silenced SMG, also definitely an option. Now that especially the damage fall off numbers have been heavily altered, especially at long range, the AR is back to a total necessity in every 5 inventory layout, and also this nerf to SMGs helps out shotguns close range. I specifically mentioned the tactical shotgun, but the pump shotgun and specifically the heavy shotgun also get a nice little boost from this nerf to the SMGs and are now a little bit more viable close range, even though the shotguns are desperately in need for a buff at this point, but that's a conversation for another video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave me a comment down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on all of the patches contained in this SMG hotfix? Do you like it? Do you still think they're too good? Let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.